construction industry is kind of responsible about 40% of the global carbon emissions. So we have a huge responsibility to reduce carbon emissions within our industry. And out of that 40% of carbon emissions, about 28% is coming from building operations. So how buildings are efficient, how they can reduce operational carbon emissions is very important. The other 11 or 12% of it is about how the materials are carefully selected to build the buildings. So embodied carbon emissions, about how efficiently building products are manufactured, is the important part of the equation as well. That's why it's important. Look at the overall carbon equation within the construction industry. There's two different components. We have been focusing on the operational carbon for decades. When we talk about carbon emissions, it's typically directly related to what kind of energy sources that we use to operate buildings, to heat buildings, to heat, cool down, or power buildings. Because we use energy, and most of the energy sources are dependent on the fossil fuels. So that's one part of the equation. The other part is embodied carbon, which is related to how the building materials that we select, procure, and install in buildings in construction phase, how are they manufactured? What kind of energy sources are used in the factories? How the raw materials to manufacture building materials, building products are sourced from different kind of resources. So that's also a very important part. And it's very critical because we can fix operational carbon over time. After the building becomes operational, over time we can energy retrofit, change the mechanical system, increase the insulation levels, so we can fine-tune the operational energy efficiency and operational carbon footprint. But the critical part about embodied carbon, once we make decisions about the design, product specifications and procurement, once we order these products and install them, they are locked there forever. Those emissions are released to the atmosphere, so we cannot fix it over time. That's why operational carbon and embodied carbon kind of goes hand in hand, because they represent about 50% of the overall total carbon footprint of a building over its lifecycle. Obviously, decarbonization of the built environment is a hot topic because of the climate urgency, but it's important to avoid what we call carbon tunnel vision. Decarbonization is important, it's urgent, but while we are trying to fix it, we cannot mess up with other environmental and human health impacts of products. So it needs to go hand in hand. When we are making design decisions, we have to think about lower carbon footprint, lower human health impact, lower environmental impact as well. That's why VOC, refrigerants, different health impacts of products are equally as important as their carbon footprint. Low carbon approach to businesses is important because first it's directly related to resilience. Energy costs are increasing every day. Lowering dependency for energy, fossil fuel energy sources are enhancing resiliency capability of buildings and built environments. So it will be more beneficial for businesses in the long run. So we can better prepare for cost volatility in long term, and also enhancing resiliency for the operation. So that's the first part. And also there's a huge demand by the public, by the governments, by private sector. Businesses gearing towards low carbon solutions will be better positioned for future marketplace and market penetration in their respective industries. Carbon reporting is important because it goes hand in hand with action. Reporting is very important, especially for carbon emissions and any other environmental metrics to first establish a baseline. It's going to be a cliche, but you cannot reduce what you don't measure, basically. First, you have to understand your current status, where you are at. You have to establish a baseline, and you have to make long-term goals and short-term goals based on that baseline to improve your operations, basically, from carbon perspective or environmental perspective. So reporting is important, but it comes with a disclaimer. Too much focus on just reporting and not focusing on climate action is not something we want to head to. Again, reporting and climate action goes hand in hand, and we need more action in operations in businesses.